Hi, this is Rob Pearson. I'm the Secretary and Webmaster for District 2 of PMEA. One of the ways that PMEA encourages student musicians is through our system of festivals. These are fantastic and encouraging experiences for students, but if you're new to these festivals, it's hard to explain the process to them. You may not understand it very well yourself. This video is a short tutorial to help you understand how these festivals work and how you can prepare your students for a successful audition and festival experience. We'll cover the paperwork, what you have to do to get the students ready, and what happens when you get there. I'll also throw in a few veteran tips along the way that should make things a little bit easier for you. First, let's talk about the beginning of the whole process, choosing your students and getting the paperwork ready. Step number 1 is the District 2 website. You'll find it at www.pmeadistrict2.com. If you haven't signed up for the email list yet, this is the first thing that you should do. Just type your email address into the blue box and follow the directions to sign up for the District Chorus email list. All the information and updates are by email, so it's important that you get them. A second home email address is highly recommended. Some school districts block a great deal of email. There are sections on the website for vocal and instrumental festivals. You will find the District Chorus Festival under the Vocal Festivals with a sublink for itself. The district page is your one-stop shopping page for the basic information and forms you need for the festival. It lists the dates for the festival, the host school, the host director, the guest director, the due date for all of the forms. It lists when and where the selections take place to fill the choir. It also has contact information. The address where the form should be sent, along with the phone number and fax number, the email address of the host, and also very importantly for this first step, it lists the director's preference sheet. It has a download place for that. You can also download the student contract and student medical information. These are all needed very first in the process. We'll start with the director's preference sheet. The director's preference sheet, I have a separate tutorial listed online that shows you how to fill this sheet out because it can be a little bit confusing. But this is where you start. You have to fill in the grade, the number of students your school has in grades 10, 11, and 12. Get a total here, and that will tell you the number of students you are allowed to bring. For instance, if you have between 600 and 799 students, you could take 6 students to this festival total. And this can be a little bit confusing too. What this means is you can take a soprano, an alto, a tenor, and a bass, and 2 not used with at least 1 male. What in the world does that mean? That can be a little bit confusing. 2 not used means, suppose you took a soprano one, an alto one, a tenor one, and a bass one. The 2 that you can take in addition to this quartet have to be in sections that you haven't filled yet. For instance, you could take an alto 2 and a tenor 2. But what you couldn't take is a soprano 2 and an alto 2 because it says here one of those has to be a male. So you can take any of the other sections that haven't been used yet. And the purpose of this is just so that we get a balanced choir. You can imagine most schools have far more female singers than they do male singers. So if we just allowed directors to bring whatever students they felt like, it would be a very female-heavy choir. This is just an effort to make things a little bit more balanced from the very beginning. How you choose these students is completely up to you. Some directors hold auditions, some choose students by seniority, others simply select the students they feel would best benefit from the experience. The choice is completely in your hands, but it is a really good idea for you to have a set policy. This will allow the parents of your students understand your decisions better. Just makes things easier for you. At this stage, your most important task is to finish the selection sheet, collect the information and signatures needed on these 2 forms, the student contract and student medical information form, and get them to this address listed by the due date. Late forms are the #1 complaint of festival hosts. Policy dictates that your school will be excluded from this festival if these forms are not complete and on time. So please, you will need to collect these signatures as fast as you can and get them to this address by the time it listed on the web page. And I should say, this page changes from year to year. Certainly not necessarily this address that I have on the tutorial. Next year's will be completely different. Well, this covers the end of our preliminary preparation for the festival. Watch the other videos to cover the selection process, preparing students for auditions, and what non-musical things you need to finish before you go.